Hey everyone, today we're going to be doing something special. We had a special request come in to do some Power Ranger items. I've actually got a handful of different things I've been putting off opening. The problem with these is my daughters are not into it as much, so I'll be going solo on this one. I'll show you what I have and where we could possibly go, and hopefully it'll draw your interest. I guess stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm going to be going over the different Power Ranger items that I have, the unopened items of course. You've seen from the intro that we've used so far that we have the Zap Edition MegaZord and DragonZord. These actually haven't been opened yet. I was thinking of opening these, but that's not what I was hoping to do for this video. This is a new product, or well, I think it's a re-release of an old product from Japan. I want to say this came through Bandai Spirits. It is a model version of the Thunder MegaZord. I picked this up at BBTS. If you're interested, take a look at that. And I'm going to have several similar items that come down in that series. This is I guess the Dino MegaZord, the original MegaZord. It's going to have all 5 of the original animals in it. This is probably going to be the one we open. On hand though, this one's a little banged up. This is the Ninja MegaZord. Picked this one up from this is probably one of the first ones I got. It has all 6 of the Ninja MegaZords, and then it also has the Falcon Zord inside, or at least it's supposed to. I'm really actually kind of anxious about that. To complement that one, we're going to have the Ninja MegaZord, or the Shogun MegaZord, which can actually combine with the Falcon Zord out of this. And then we have the DragonZord, or I think it's Dragon Caesar in Japan. It also can be combined with these, like the original ones from when I was a kid. And mostly the reason why I'm looking for I'm getting these, besides the fact they look like they might possibly be better, is that they are unfortunately replacements for the ones that I lost when I was a kid. This, well, you can't tell, I haven't taken out its packaging yet. This is Titanus. So when the MegaZord, DragonZord, and Titanus are open, we'll actually be able to make the full Thunder MegaZord, or Ultra MegaZord. So, let's go ahead and get started. I think today we're going to open up the regular traditional MegaZord. So, when opening this up, inside are 5 different boxes. And I've heard that I've seen videos that these are actually very sticker intensive, so I'm a little scared. So, looking really quickly, I don't know Japanese, but these are, and I'm assuming they're Japanese, these are almost exactly the same. The only peace of mind that I have so far is that I see a 3 on here, and that this one is a 5. So, it says to me that they're different packages. And the colors kind of help a little bit too. I imagine blue 3 is going to be Triceratops. Red 5 is probably going to be Red Tyrannosaurus. Yellow is probably going to be Yellow Saber-Tooth Tiger. And so forth. I've got a black 2 and a red 1. Oh, that's not a red 5, that's a pink 5. So that's a pink 5 and that's a red 1. So there you go. I may have to do stop motion on these, or not stop motion, but I may have to pause occasionally on these because I believe these are very heavily sticker intensive. And I'm going to try my best. I'm a finagler for it, but I don't have a steady hand for it. So I'll try to do that. Okay, let's start with number 1. Okay, so this is going to end up being my Tyrannosaurus, and this is nuts. Basically, you're going to have sticker sheets with each one of these. Yeah, and I'm basically going to put together every piece that goes into making these Zords. I'm going to do it once for the Tyrannosaurus, again for the next one, again for the next one. All right. I'm gonna get a pincher tool, maybe a nail clipper tool, so that I can make sure I trim these really well. I'll be back and we'll get started. So wow, getting these are all the pieces for the different parts, and man, oh man, I mean, this is gonna take me forever. But I guess that's why they called this a model kit. You're supposed to go in with a certain amount of patience, I guess. Let's see how this goes. So when doing this, the first thing you want to do, I think, is you want to get all the pieces free, and then once you're done, you're going to go back behind it. In this case, I'm going to try using a pair of tweezers, or a pair of fingernail clippers, and see if hopefully that gives me the desired result. But I want to make sure that if there's any excess, like here, I just pulled this off, there is a tiny bit of speck still on there. I'm going to put it over my face, maybe the white skin against the black. You'll be able to see it better. And I want to try to trim that off so I don't have more than I want. I knew these were models and that this was going to be a big to do. I would have really rather just buy the originals from when I was a kid, but I mean, you can't find them without charging an arm and a leg. And for what it's worth, this could actually be really rewarding when it's finished. I'm thinking it will be. I know that a lot of people are upset, or I don't know, upset, but currently, when I was a kid, Bandai produced these toys, and now I want to say it's the licenses to produce them in America is held by Hasbro. There's been good and bad. I think Hasbro is really good when it comes to figures. I don't personally feel like the Zords that I've seen have been I don't know. I feel like I liked them better when I was a kid. I feel like they were somehow more detailed, if you can believe that. Of course, it could just be nostalgia, right? All right. Okay. We'll check in just a little bit, and I'll let you know how it's coming. Hey everyone, just starting out. I've gotten through punching out my first sheet. I had an idea to put this timer up on screen. I thought it would be helpful to anybody who wanted to know how long something like this takes to put together. I am not a model guy. This is a labor here. But while I'm not very good with my hands, I take probably about an extra 10 minutes compared to most recommended time taken when it comes to putting together things. Like when I put together my kids' play set whenever they were kids, I think the recommended time was 32 to 34 hours, and it took me like 36. So, yeah. All right. We'll check in every once in a while. Okay. So after lots of patience, I have finished the Tyrannosaurus. Yeah. I did have a little hold up. I lost probably about 20 minutes when I had a wrong piece. Other than that, this is like Legos. There's sticker application, which is not my favorite thing in the world, but no, this is kind of like Legos for adults. It's kind of fun. So this is what he looks like, and I'll show them all at the end. But before we go too much further, I wanted to put some scale on here. So this is the Super 7 Tyrannosaurus, and this is the one that came with this. I'm hoping that when I get this all together and I put together the MegaZord, that it might be on par with the size of this. I was actually kind of got this because I had already had these, and I wanted them to be a sizable replacement. You know, while you're playing, if the MegaZord were to jump out, the Tyrannosaurus would come in, that this might be a decent replacement. So we'll see. But 1 out of 5 down. And then just to go one step further, this is Orko from the Origins line. He is practically the same size. He's certainly the same height. But yeah, and this is light. Okay, let's keep going. Hey everyone, just checking in. I've just finished the second one, the Mastodon. So it is getting a little late here, so I'm probably going to be taking a little bit of a break, tuning in, starting up either later tonight, possibly doing a third one, or probably starting on another day and starting a third one. I should mention that actually after I said I was starting the Mastodon, I went back and I found a few stickers that I forgot to apply to the Tyrannosaurus. So I did this all this time has not been spent on just the Mastodon. But yeah, these things are no joke. All right, I'll check in real soon. Be sure to, if you don't like the clock, be sure to look at the facial stubble. All right, everyone, welcome. Just checking back in. It's actually been a couple days. I had to take a break after the last one. This is taking me a little longer than I expected. Don't get discouraged. Listen to the final review at the end, please. So now we're going to move on to the Triceratops. So when I stopped the camera before, it was the end of a Sunday night. Now it is it's Saturday morning, so it's been five and a half days since I was last working on this. Just finished putting together the Triceratops, going pretty well. About to move on to the next one in a minute. But yeah, let's keep going. Really moving along. Was doing the saber-toothed tiger. Realized that there's one or two things that are very similar to the Triceratops, and actually went back. If you remember before, I think there may have been a segment here. It was actually going to be something I was concerned about. That segment is actually, I think, related to the model aspect of this. And when you put it together, you can use that or not use that, because you got to remember, when this becomes a foot, you can pose him. And if it would look better to have sort of a ball joint here, that's why it was that other way. It actually just, I don't want to pull it apart because it doesn't really want to come apart very easily. And there's a lot of sticker application here. These are intended to be models, but they are, these are very durable so far. Really loving my Tiger Zord here, or my white Tiger Zord, or the white tiger. Getting ahead of myself. Loving my saber-toothed tiger. Saber-toothed tiger. Yeah, loving my saber-toothed tiger Zord here. Only got one left, and I think we're looking at MegaZord initiated. You know what I'm talking about? Let's see. All right. Well, got one more to go. Going to take a small break right now. So going to take a little break, grab some lunch, stop the clock, so to speak, and we'll get started. And I'll try to put a counter up or something at the end to see just how long it took to actually put all this together, and thoughts and reviews, and then we'll actually get to the toy. All right, grab the bite to eat. We're gonna get back on it. Well, we grabbed the bite to eat. Gonna get back on it. On to the very last one. Only one we have left now is the pterodactyl Zord, and then we're going for it. I'm showing you this. I guess the only thing that actually matters on this is the 5 on it here. Okay, getting started. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna, for the most part, stop the clock. Okay, I want to say this is the actual time it takes to punch each of these out of their cases, to trim them, to get off any excess plastic that when you pull it out of the thing didn't punch out properly, to apply and put them on and put them into properly. And I wanted, before I go any further on that, I wanted to point out a few things that I'd recommend if you're going to do this. First thing is, this isn't a bad idea. I don't know if this is the best idea, but using a nail clipper to trim back that plastic is a very good, precise pincher tool. You need to make sure that you got a really decent one. I picked this one up a couple months ago for personal use. I probably will repurpose it after this. But the This one was really good. It was just a simple Revlon one. Really worked well. Something that I wanted to mention was, if you have a little extra money, get yourself a pair of garden gloves, okay? I have what I would say not masculine hands, okay? As I'm punching these things out of these little plastics, often once I would get it free, the rest of my hand, or the inside of past my thumb, the backside here would slam against the inside of the packages. If I was wearing some sort of mitt, it would have saved me from a little bit of frustration, because you know, where it just kind of, it pinches and it burns at the same time. I don't know. But I just wanted to pass that on before it slips my mind. Those are 2 recommendations I would do if you're interested in picking these up. I wish I had known that. I want to say I thought I had good foresight with this. I wish I had the gloves. Okay, so the only thing we got left now, so this, let me go ahead and do an inventory of each of the figures, trying to showcase them. All right, I'm going to go in order again. Actually, I can probably do this right now. All right, so this is the Tyrannosaurus. Okay, most of him is articulated in some small way, nothing major. The tail is a solid piece. The mouth does not open, and in each of these cases, I want to say, unless I say something, the mouth isn't going to open. They're too small. It's too much detail if it was actually to open. You'll notice that the foot swivels. I can turn it. I can pose it a couple different ways. It's not bad. The arms actually do move. They're a little stiff, because I think that these are in total are intended to be sort of posed and sort of left. But they each having trouble. And all this is just a piece of plastic sitting in a plastic. I mean, this is a lot like putting together Legos. Okay, if you're one of the people who would build a Lego set, like say when you were a kid, you'd get the big Lego village and you'd build it, and part of you never wanted to tear it apart, this is for you. This is, because you're going to spend a little bit of time to put these together. I'm going to clock the whole thing at the very end here. But the process is a little time consuming, but it's really, I had a great time putting these together. I didn't go in, I went in naively thinking this would be more smooth, take less time than it actually did. That's the only thing that messed me up. I kind of had my expectations that this was going to take a less amount of time to put together. But if you give yourself, in this case, if you're doing a MegaZord, I think a MegaZord slot would probably be somewhere around 4 to 5 hours. And that's me with, I don't really work well with my hands. So I'd keep that in mind if you happen to have really good talent. But you got to have the patience to work with small pieces. Some of these are, and I'm going to try to show you. Well, here, let me finish going through these pieces. So next we have the Mastodon. The Mastodon does not have any movable pieces. The only thing, I suppose, maybe you could move the trunk up and down, and it's only very slightly. It's on a ball joint, but it doesn't really want to move. Okay, there's no left or right. And again, it's really small. The next one we did was the Triceratops. Here it is. It actually has very small wheels. They don't run very well, but you hear this clicking? That is actually those wheels turning. It's not great, but it's not dragging. Okay, so that's something. Similarly, the saber-toothed tiger is made in almost the exact same fashion as this. It's just a different mold because it's a different animal. Once you've done this one is actually a little bit easier to do. Oh, and there was one other thing. I'm going to find it and put it on in another segment. There's a section of the instructions. So the instructions for me were completely in Japanese. Okay, so sometimes it would try to tell you need to be very particular, like make sure you're using this one and not this one that looks almost exactly like it. But not being able to read that sort of warning, I kind of, had to sort of learn that way. And then in addition, I think I did learn a couple characters. I think when it comes to the sticker application, the stickers, there's a warning that says when to apply and when not to apply. It's actually kind of neat. I think I know what the symbol for do not means, and app. You're going to think it's stupid when I find the actual image of the of it though, but I feel kind of proud for figuring it out. And then last one that we did here was the pterodactyl. And these all look really great. I mean, the only thing that stunk for me about any of this, even after I set aside my willingness, or not my willingness, but my time to do this, the stickers were the only annoying thing for me, and it was for two reasons. One, because I'm meticulous. I want it to be perfect, and I don't have a steady enough hand for that. So that I had that working against me. But it was actually the fact that in some cases you couldn't just put the stickers on at the end. You had to put them on in some cases during the middle of the build, and just to sort of have to put this down and go change gears, so to speak. I found that a little annoying, but that's my only real complaint about any of this. But I mean, the stickers are minute. I mean, they are. So the back panel of this bird here is actually a sticker. So from roughly what would be the eye to the back of the head is a sticker, a single one on this side. Here's my finger to show you for comparison about how big that is. That's nuts. You could probably get a tool or something. Again, thinking about a nail grooming kit. I think that there is a small pair of tweezers. You could probably use something like that if you really wanted to get into it. And for all of my wants, I'm not going to do that just because it doesn't have to be perfect. I wish it was. And the last thing is putting this thing together. Oh, and there's no glue. There's no glue in here whatsoever. Everything was snapped into place. It was like, but you're working with, if it was a pack of Legos, you're working with countless ones. Okay, it's not like a 1x2 and it's a little tiny one. You're working with a bunch of small ones, and you're eventually getting to something that actually has a little size and shape to it. And that's it. Really neat. But anyway, enough with the review. I'm going to leave the camera running now, and we're going to go ahead and put together the Dino MegaZord. There you go. There is everything. You have the shield. You've got all the animals. You can pose them as separate animals if you want. And then we're going to do one more thing just for comparison before we hang it up. Here is the Super 7 Tyrannosaurus. I was hoping these guys, that when he was built, he might be in scale with him. And he's a little bit bigger. That's a good or bad thing, depending on which way you want to go. All it says to me is I need now to get the MegaZord out here and let them go at it. And if that doesn't work, I need to call get the Mega Dragonzord. If that doesn't work, I need to get the Dragon MegaZord. And if that doesn't work, Titanus is going to come out. So, we'll get there. I still think this is freaking neat. And I'm going to try to take I'm going to try to put this close so you guys can see just how neat this is. I mean, everything moves. Everything works. If you look at, say, the shoulder blade, the shoulder pads, for example, here, you can kind of see where it snaps together. I put this whole thing together. I know exactly where every piece is. I do recommend, if you're going to keep it, keep the instructions. Just in case a piece pops off or you're not sure where something goes, it'll help you. Unfortunately, they're in Japanese and in black and white, but having them will help you. And these are neat. I want to say this guy cost me roughly about $100. I got him off of Big Bad Toy Store not too long ago, so they might still be there. I'm not sure. I remember being a little worried about getting it, but I got my DragonZord and my Titanus off of there as well. And I'm still waiting on the Thunder MegaZord coming soon. So I think I've got the Thunder Zord over here somewhere, and I think the Tiger Zord just came in. So gonna have some fun with it. All right. Oh. If this is up your alley, give it a shot. If you're doing the MegaZord, this is probably 5 hours worth of work right here. Okay, look, again, my hands are probably, I don't know, 8 inches high. So there we go. That's you're gonna spend about 5 hours on this. I feel like it's all worth it, and I can, even though it's gonna kind of, it's not the the best quality when it comes to playing and doing different things with it. I mean, I can do stuff with this. I can play with this. I can pose this, and I can change it to any other way I want. It's Bandai Spirits, which I think is what they call Bandai these days, which are the people who made the original MegaZord back in the 90s, or at least the version that we got in the US. These guys have been doing this. They know what they're doing, and this is neat. Just make sure you get the tools, get the nail trimmer. I recommend a pair of gloves. If you're going to be anal about the stickers, you want to get maybe a pair of tweezers to help apply with, and just sort of pack your patience. You got to be. I recommend, if you're good at Legos, you want to. This will be up your alley. If you struggle with Legos, if you've got the right amount of patience, you'll get there, because these things can be pulled back apart and reassembled and put in different ways. It's tough. The plastic is tough. I mean, if nothing else, you can remember I ripped it out of little carrier plastic that tore from. There was a distinction. I don't know how they did it, but there's a distinction between the stuff that it came out of, which is moldable and bendable, malleable, and the actual pieces here. I mean, this is like hard plastic, and the pterodactyl on the front is the one that had the least piece of segmented parts. This is like legit. Oh, here, let me do it from a couple angles so you can see it too. I'll try to. Oh yeah, look at that. It's kind of, remember I mentioned that there are parts on the bottom for, in case it wants to roll, at least on the TigerZords, or the TigerZord, Saber-Tooth Tiger side, it'll roll a little bit if you want it to. So I think it's pretty neat. It just started recording? Why does it keep doing that?